Anthony, hi.
Hey, sorry about that. Was having some technical difficulties with my internet, my router.
No worries. That's gonna happen these days. It's the new normal.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You look great. Look at this quarantine beard.
Hold on, let me turn this volume up. I hit the wrong button. Yeah, it's crazy.
Good.
Thank you. I was at the wrap end of the season anyway. I was just going to grow my beard out. I was just going to travel and look like a grizzly man when I went back to work in August, and then the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Anthony. If you're just joining us, hello. I'm Jack Smart. I'm the awards editor Backstage. Anthony Anderson, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Remind me, did you use Backstage back in the day? Did you use Backstage for casting notices?
Man, I used Backstage before I had an agent, looking for casting calls to crash. Used Backstage to look for my first agent. Used Backstage to look for my first headshots. Backstage West, all of that stuff.
Great, good. It's all coming full circle then.
Yeah.
You were just saying, of course, the elephant in the room. I want to ask about, how you are. And you just mentioned, so the recent season of Blackish, you guys were wrapped. The pandemic didn't hit like in the middle of filming anything, right?
No, fortunately for us, we had wrapped the Friday before everything went crazy.
Wow.
We wrapped on that Friday. We had our wrap party that Wednesday. The wrap party was a little light just because of the rumblings of COVID or Corona.
Yeah.
Wow. And then that following Friday, everything was just shut down.
Yeah.
So we were fortunate in terms of not having that affect our production schedule at all.
Sure. And of course, coming back in August remains TBD.
TBD, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a better understanding of what that new normal or new abnormal will be then. Yeah. But we have a few more months to, to shelter in place, hopefully to flatten the curve and, get businesses and everything back open. So, we can get back to a world in which we recognize.
Yeah. I love that. The new abnormal. It's very true these days.
Yeah.
How are you personally doing? Like we've been asking, of course, these days we're all about, Backstage is all about the acting advice, but these days it feels like, what's your acting advice for quarantining at home? And how are you staying engaged? Are you full of despair? Are you full of hope? Like, where are you at?
Full of hope. Not despair at all. Full of hope. The glass is always half full for me. Just hope that, this too shall pass, and, we will all come out better human beings, and those who haven't been affected by this personally will not be. Yeah. But, to keep my mind sharp, I've been trying to read more. I'm not going to say I've been reading more. I've been trying to read more, but
same.
Out in my garden, I built some garden boxes in my backyard. Didn't know if we were going to have to live off the grid and grow our own fruits and vegetables because of what was going on. So I started a few months ago. So everything is good.
Gardening is supposed to be really therapeutic. It's supposed to really help stress levels.
It is. I started gardening 8 years ago. I didn't want to rip up my yard just because my kids were young and they were still playing in the backyard with basketball and swings and all that. So I joined the community garden in my neighborhood.
Oh, cool.
And I got 5 plots, put them all together. So I have a 20 by 50 plot. I have 1,000 square feet of gardening space, and I built my own raised garden beds. I built a fence around it, and I brought in my own soil and turned the soil. It's all organic, and I grow everything that's in season. And I did it because that became my place of zen. I could go out there and get dirty and be one with the earth and
Right.
everything that was going on personally or professionally, I could just let go and talk to my plants, talk to my fruits and my vegetables.
That's great advice, actually. Yeah, that's if artists stuck at home can have something like that, like a project where you can sweat, get your hands dirty. That's really good.
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned reading. What else are you like? What are you watching, or like what kind of media or stories are you consuming, or what's inspiring you these days?
You know what's inspiring me is the creativity that everyone is having right now. You know, some notable artists and some just regular everyday folk who, you know, are forced to think differently, forced to, you know, to interact differently, and you know that gets the creative juices flowing. That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see what is going to be born out of this next. You know, what creative minds are being born right now or fostered right now because of, you know, the situation that we're in. But, you know, in terms of the boob tube, I mean, you know, Tiger King, like everybody else was, you know, Don't Fuck with Cats is another one that I'm watching.
It's all cap.
Yeah. Also, you know, watching, you know, The Last Dance, you know, Michael Jordan's documentary or the Chicago Bulls documentary. So that's fascinating, especially having him as a personal friend to know some of these stories and to know and to not know some of these stories and to hear, you know, the perspective, the outside perspective versus the perspective of the person that was going through it. But that's it. You know what's crazy? My sister-in-law is staying with us, so she never watched Game of Thrones, and I convinced her to watch Game of Thrones. I was like, "Yo, just look at the pilot. Just look at the very first episode, and if that doesn't move you, then excuse me, then we never have to have this conversation again." She watched the first episode and didn't stop watching until she was 8 episodes in. And now she's almost done with the season. I was like, let me know when you get to season 3, episode 8. It's called The Red Wedding. And so
you gotta be
let
there
me know
for
when you're there, and I will watch that with you again. And I videotaped her like all of, you know, because I was told, watch the reactions on YouTube for The Red Wedding. And I watched it, and I was like, yo, then I saw it myself, and I was like, oh my God, I see what this was about. So I videotaped her on the couch, and she did not disappoint.
That's great. Hey, now is the time. A long binge show like Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's great advice. I gotta ask you about Blackish because 6 seasons of Blackish. Congratulations, first
Thank
of all.
you.
Do you feel like 6 seasons is like? Does there come a point where like a TV show becomes like a long-running TV show? That's a long time. And I was thinking about it the other day. We have watched those 4 kids, I guess 5 kids now, like grow up.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes it seem like a long-running television show, because you see the evolution of these children from childhood to teenagers to young adulthood.
Really?
But being on set every day for the past 6 years, and at the end of the season this year, does not seem like it's been 6 years. Does not seem like it's been a long time. But you know, watching it in reruns and in syndication, you go back to those very first episodes, and you're like, oh my God, we've been doing this for a minute now, just to see how the children have matured and become young adults.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Yara Shahidi has her own show now.
Oh yeah. You know, so it's and who knows? These other children may have their own show soon enough after this one. There may be a few more spinoffs before we're done with it.
Yeah, grownish, mixedish. It's all great.
Yeah.
Of course, then the next question becomes like, you as an actor, this is true of any long-running sitcom, like how do you keep things fresh? Do you find that you're still challenged and still like, are there parts of Dre that you're still learning about?
There are parts of Dre that I'm still learning about, because I'm still learning about myself as an individual, as an artist, as a man. So in discovering new things about me as I go through this journey called life, yeah, you know, I'm able to bring new things to a character that I'm portraying that's, you know, loosely based on me, loosely based on Kenya. So yeah, I get to find new things just from going through life. And what was the first part of your question? I sometimes get long-winded and forget what
How
people
has
ask.
it evolved? I mean, like, are you still challenged? How do you keep it fresh?
Just that. You know what? Having a talented cast keeps me fresh. You know, these young actors that we have in The Children keep me on my toes. And Tracy Ellis Ross, she's no slouch either. She's no slouch either.
Yeah. Considering her every reaction shot is like a completely new thing we've never seen before, it's like that'll keep you on your toes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you started as an actor, but then you were added as a producer a couple years, right, into the process. Are there two different hats you wear as producer and actor?
I started. I mean, you know, I was an executive producer from the pilot. So from its inception, you know, Kenya and I sat down years ago and came up with this concept together. So yeah, we were both executive producers and partners in this from the beginning. And yeah, it's two different hats. You know, I was more hands-on during the pilot phase and the first season, just because we were trying to establish something that was different and to get it off the ground. And then just became hands-off and was just on the stage as an actor. You know, certain decisions, you know, I was asked to make, you know, throughout the years. I'm always asked my opinion on things, but they're definitely two different hats that you wear, which can be, you know, complicated sometimes, just in terms of interaction with people that work with you, for you, however you want to put it. Right. You know, regardless of what relationships might have been before work, before this process started, they change because on paper, you're number one on the call sheet, you're executive producer, you're making decisions, and then that sometimes becomes tricky because now personal relationships that you might have had become different because of the pecking order, so to speak, and it's due in no part to myself or whatever. It's just how the industry is, and it's just how, you know, some people who were brought up in the industry that way, behind the scenes in production offices, you know, it's like, you know, there's a certain way that you talk to an executive producer or speak to an executive producer of a show. There's a certain way that you speak to the star of a show, and when you're, you know, one of the stars of the show and one of the executive producers, it really becomes, you know, that much more for someone to deal with. And so just trying to navigate through that as best I can, and making sure that people are comfortable, you know, with me wearing those two hats. You know, I'm doing what I love to do. You're doing what you love to do. We're doing what we love to do. And, you know, that shouldn't complicate anything.
Yeah, right. That's great. That's great. This is fabulous. I got to let you go soon, but we are all about the early career acting advice. As you know, I've asked about auditions before, but if you could go back in time, I mean, what do you remember about your earliest days? Are you good at auditioning? Do you like the opportunity to audition?
I think I'm great at auditioning. I think I'm great in the room, and I become even better once I get the job. And you know, it for me, it stemmed from always being prepared. You know, it's a simple equation. The only thing that I can control in the equation is me and what I do. And as long as I know I'm as prepared as I can be, I go in there and I make the adjustments that I need to make based on the direction given to me by the casting director or the director. As long as I know that I've done that, then the rest is out of my control. You know, that's how I've been able to sleep for the past 25 years after auditions, whether I got them or not. It's like, you know, I went in there and I gave it my all. I did the best that I could be. It's all subjective. You know, there's one role to get, and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of actors trying to get that one role. So I can't go crazy thinking about, oh, what didn't I do? Why did they give it to him? Why didn't I get? No, I can't lose sleep over that. You know, I go in there, I make sure I'm as prepared as I can be when I walk into the room, and I leave it all in the room. I give my all. I give 100% every time I enter a casting room, because I always believe that I may not get that job, but they will remember me for the next opportunity that comes across their desk.
Yep. Totally.
So if you were asking what advice I would give, just be the best that you can be, and not worry about anything else outside of that. You are the only constant in the equation that you can control.
Excellent. Totally. And that's that's how you sleep at night. It's not that you have some post audition routine. Like you've left it all in the room. I love that phrase.
Yeah. You know, I have my own little mantra. Every audition I have before I go in, I say it to myself, you know, I claim the role as my own if it's meant for me to have.
Yeah.
If it's meant for me, it's meant for me. No matter what the next person does that comes before or after me, they can't take it from me. They can't take it from me, just like I can't take it from them. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Right. And that's it. Yeah. I claim the role as my own.
If it's meant for me to have. You can claim everything if you want and be like, damn it, it didn't work. No, I claim every role as my own if it's meant for me to have.
Totally.
Yeah. And you know what? You have to be specific in the things that you ask for, because whatever you put out in the universe, I'm a firm believer that it comes back to you.
Completely.
And I no longer want for things in life, and it's not because, you know, I'm successful and I have money in the bank or whatnot. I no longer want for things because I realized a long time ago that in wanting for things, all I ever did was create a want for them. I was never able to get it. I was never able to obtain it for myself. Rose up. Are you there? Okay.
There you are.
Give an example. I always tell people this. It's like, have you ever wanted to go someplace? You ever wanted the girl? You ever wanted the car? You ever wanted the trip? You ever wanted the purse? You ever wanted the shoes? It's like, yeah, I've always wanted those things. Did you ever get them? No, for the most part, no, I never got them. Right. It's because you never claimed them. You never saw yourself having them. All you said was, I want to go here. I want to do this. I want that. If you see yourself doing it, and if you claim those things, they will become yours. Yeah. For the longest time, I always said, I want to go out of the country and make a movie. And for the longest time, I kept going to Canada making movies. Well, yeah, I was out of the country, but it's not where I wanted to be.
Gotcha.
So after my last time saying that, I said, specificity. I need to be specific in what it is that I ask for. So I said, my next film will be overseas, where I need a passport to get into the country, because at this time, all you needed was a birth certificate and an ID to get into Canada. Right. So I said, I will need to fly overseas, and I will need a passport to enter this country to work. A week later, I got a call from Jerry Bruckheimer's office to come audition for this movie called Down and Under. Well, after after getting the role, that movie then became Kangaroo Jack. Oh, okay. Shot in Australia.
Okay.
And I was like, being specific. I
go.
needed to fly overseas. I needed a passport to get into the country. So that's just a small example
Totally.
of what it is for claiming things as your own if it's meant for you to have.
That's excellent advice. That's excellent advice for early career actors or just for anyone in life. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Anthony. This is so great.
Oh,
I love the reveal that we're just talking about kangaroo jack. Do you have any parting words of wisdom for our Backstage followers?
Hey, stay true to who you are. Never accept no. Find a way to turn a no into a yes, and just keep doing what you do.
That's excellent. Thank you for your wisdom. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you. It was given to me, so it's my responsibility to pass it on.
There you go. Yeah. Now we can claim it.
Exactly. There you go.
All right. Thanks so much, Anthony, and hang in there. Stay safe.
Thank you very much. Everybody who's out there watching, please be safe, stay healthy, and be responsible.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Anthony.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your support and love over the years. I really do appreciate and love you all for that.